Good evening, folks. Welcome back. We've got another Lorn and Apollo show tonight on this Tuesday evening. If you guys are in the area that's being slammed with freezing rain and ice and snow and cold and all of that stuff, I just have one thing to say to you.
That was
Anyway,
tremendous. That was
anyway,
tremendous.
how are you doing, Kevin?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I need someone to summon Scorpion to stop Sub-Zero from punishing everybody.
Yeah, I've been hearing some stories. It's like this is the stuff that I usually encounter. I'm really happy not to be encountering it this year. I do feel sorry for all of the folks who are not used to this. I'm sure that it's quite a shock. If you're not used to ice and snow, it can get real dangerous real quick. So for those people that are experiencing it in all seriousness, I hope you're staying inside. I hope you're staying warm. I hope you're staying off the roads where people don't know how to drive in this stuff, because that is really a dangerous situation. Anyway, tonight we are going to continue our series on talking about movie releases of the 90s. We're going to be talking about 1991 tonight. This was a series idea that was pitched by Kevin when he started noticing just how much truly great stuff came out in that area. We've got stories to talk about, but between you and me and our other special guest, who will be popping up in just a moment, I think I've got 32 movies to talk about. And so I think we got lots of content tonight. I don't know that we need to get to all of these stories. We'll just kind of play it casual and see how it goes. Did you have anything that you wanted to say before I brought in our other guest, Kevin?
Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decade form to... Should he bring her in?
What? Oh, I don't understand that reference at all.
That's a Thundercats reference.
Oh, that would be why. I only watched that very casually as a child.
Imagine that. So how are you doing, Trish? Are you braving the freezing rain and everything just fine?
I mean, right now it's good, but yeah, it was freezing rain for like a solid day there, practically. It was like freezing rain, snow, freezing rain. It's like a little sandwich of it.
Yeah, and that's the worst. That's when you get like ice sheets that are like slippery glass. It's not fun.
No, it wasn't at all. And a stop sign near me blew down and all sorts of stuff.
Yep, that's where we're at. You guys, we've already got some super chats going here, so I'm going to bring them up real quick before we start getting to our first story. First one that we have is from Wild and Crazy Bear for $5. Kimball will be crying more when his show gets canceled next year. Well, we can all hope.
Really?
I will feel sorry for people losing their jobs. That's never a good thing. But I don't think that he's really providing much of value. And in fact, you could argue that he's providing negative value because the show's costing more than it's making. So hopefully those folks will land on their feet somewhere else and do something productive with their lives. Bookstore Thor for $2. Hope you keep going. 93 is my favorite movie year. It's like, for me, it's a toss-up, I think, between 89 and 99. What do you think?
Oof, we could probably break up 89 into 3 parts. There's just so much that came out. Oh gosh, 99 was pretty good too, though.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's pretty good. That's the year The Mummy came out, and then you got I think it was 97 Starship Troopers.
I was just gonna say, don't people say 97 is a really good year? I'm not someone who would be able to know by year. Like when I was looking this up, I'm like, oh yeah, this came up in 91. This came out in 91. So I can't tell you a year, but I know people. Don't they talk about the Oscars being pretty stacked that year?
The Oscars used to be a heck of a lot of fun to watch because you had so many hits and you actually had genuine movie stars and while it would get tedious at the end because everybody's speeches always ran long and the broadcast went over too long and usually people are pretty sloshed by the end of it. It would get a little weird, but it was still fun, and I don't feel like there's any of that now. We got Snarky Distinct for $4.99. If you've seen recently or are too young and missed it, watch the best national anthem ever, 1991, sung by Whitney.
Yes. I agree wholeheartedly. Man, that was 91. Holy cow. Okay.
Yeah, we're not spring chickens anymore.
No, you're not.
Wild and Crazy Bear for $2. Here's something that was huge in 91. Ice baby.
Don't worry. Vanilla Ice is on my list. Trust.
She's got you covered.
Lorn told me that you were on today, and I think the first 5 things that he posted, I had on my list. I'm like, oh, cool. I can pull these off.
And we still got 32. O2RR for $4.99. Kevin Apollo needs to stay awake tonight. Otherwise, we're going to have Wilton join the panel and make sure he stays awake.
I saw that, Kevin. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
It was wonderful. It actually was.
It really was.
I was kind of sad that you woke up because it actually sounded like you were, 1, having a better time than we were, and 2, actually sleeping really peacefully. It was nice.
So I realized what happened. So apparently my Mac does not like when I click any kind of filter option in StreamYard. I don't remember picking this option, but I was like, why? All weekend, I'm like, why won't StreamYard work? I'd click in, everything's moving super slow, and then I had the stupid Mac Beach Bowl of Doom. And I'm like, this is bleeping stupid. What is happening? And I was like, I'm not changing computers because anytime I go back to use an HP, I'm like, I can't do this. Everything's weird. And then I got into the options, and I'm like, oh, I never put this on. Oh, why is my screen mirrored? I don't mirror my screen. And then as soon as I turned off the stupid fuzzy background, it was okay. So yeah, no, Friday was an audio drama. It's just like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna listen to this movie. I'm like, oh man, nothing is happening in this movie.
You know,
I'm gonna close my eyes for a second.
It's not as bad as some of the other stuff that we've had to watch, but it got progressively worse as it went on, which was kind of weird. You know, it's like it started off actually feeling kind of strong, like this is so bad it might be okay, and then it just went to bad and it never stopped. So, and I wouldn't say it even really has an ending; it just ends. So, well, we were thankful it did. We got Liquid Fox for $5 Canadian. Hello, everyone. Woke up with Marv and Lorn and ending work with Lorn, Apollo, and Trish. Still can't believe Marv gave me power today. How foolish.
What was that? I saw that and I was like, had he lost the plot? Liquid Fox? Liquid Jester, as I've been calling him?
He was just feeling generous. He started handing out wrenches. So,
and you get a wrench, and you get a wrench.
He was in a good mood this morning. He was saying that he had gotten ahead of his workload, and so he had everything prepped and ready. He didn't feel like he was stressed, and he had some plans tonight, which is why he's not here with us tonight. So I think he was looking forward to a good day. And look at this joker who's in here. He's got power too. You know? Show it off, sir. Yeah, if you want a link, let me know and I'll send it over to you and you can join us here. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into our first story for tonight. This is one that I think. Have you watched Starfleet Academy, Kevin, or did you give up on it?
No, I will be watching it. I just William Shatner proved to be way more interesting this weekend than watching this show. So. What did Robert Picardo do now? Because this is all he does is whine and cry at people who do not agree with him.
Escalates the fight with the Star Trek fans over Starfleet Academy criticism. And
because it's straight doo-doo. The show is awful.
Doo-doo.
Veteran Star Trek actor Robert Picardo is once again pushing back against Star Trek fans and their criticism aimed at Starfleet Academy. This time, he's directly targeting longtime viewers frustrated with canon changes, tonal shifts, and what many see as a growing disconnect between Star Trek's legacy and its modern direction. Look at that judgy face.
Oh, dude. So in the second episode, because it's in the show, as the Doctor, because you didn't make it that far into Voyager, but as the show progresses and the Doctor's personality becomes more robust, he does what you do in the Berman era, and he develops a penchant for the fine arts, and he becomes an opera singer. They had this man opera sing gibberish for what felt like 2 hours. I think the scene may have only been 4 minutes, but he was singing gibberish. I'm like, what are What do you mean? People are upset. The show is too dumb. I find it insulting to call the show dumb.
Picardo, best known for playing the Doctor on Star Trek Voyager, has taken on that very same role in Star Trek Starfleet Academy, a series that has already become a flashpoint within the fandom. Over the past several weeks, Picardo has addressed criticism across interviews and social media, often framing fan concerns as overreactions, bad faith, or a lack of humor. One of the earliest controversies surrounding Starfleet Academy involves the introduction of a female Jem'Hadar character, something that directly contradicts previously established canon.
An impossibility.
Historically, Jem'Hadar were genetically engineered, male-only soldiers incapable of reproduction. In an interview shared by co-star Gina Yashir, Picardo dismissed the backlash, arguing that canon evolution is inevitable across centuries of in-universe time. A reminder to Star Trek fans, he said. If you can genetically engineer the Jem'Hadar in the 24th century, you can change them in the intervening 800 years in the 32nd century. You can genetically modify them. It's not a big deal. The explanation did little to calm critics, many of whom argued that the issue was not whether changes could be justified in theory, but how casually long-established lore was being rewritten. For these fans, Picardo's response signaled an unwillingness to acknowledge why continuity matters to a franchise built on internal logic and consistency. Picardo's tone sharpened further when responding to criticism of a scene in which a Starfleet Academy cadet claims to have swallowed her comm badge, a moment many viewers cited as emblematic of the show portraying elite trainees as unserious or incompetent. I've got a question about this. Is there a logical explanation for how she says that she swallowed her comm badge?
No, it's just done for a stupid joke. It's like so in the first JJ Star Trek, where they do the thing where McCoy sneaks Kirk into the ship and he makes him sick.
Right.
He keeps trying to fix it.
Yep.
It's one of those, they do a montage of the Doctor talking to trainees and they all have dumb things wrong with them. And it's like they forgot that the school is in fact a school, but also a military school where you're supposed to be dealing with the best of the best of the best of the best. And they just have them running around like just actual morons.
Well, it's like if you somehow invent a scenario in which something accidentally could occur, then that kind of scene could work. But the only way this works is literally if this person is the dumbest person on the planet.
Oh, they all are. They're all so dumb. They're so dumb. And their names are extra dumb.
Although, I suppose if there's an orifice that a comm badge is going to go into, the mouth is probably the most advantageous for this series.
Shucks.
Responding on X, Picardo wrote, "Some on this platform complained that a Starfleet Academy cadet swallowing her comm badge is ridiculous. On behalf of the franchise, I wish to apologize for tribbles, which are ridiculous, unless you have a sense of humor, which many Star Trek fans have."
No, because they took the time to explain what the tribbles were and why they were destructive. The tribbles were set up seriously to deliver the gag at the end of the episode when you realize all they're doing is eating everything and reproducing, and it's going to be a problem. And which plays out masterfully when we come back and do it again in Deep Space Nine for the anniversary episode.
Yep. The comparison immediately drew pushback. Critics noted that the classic original series Tribbles episode, The Trouble with Tribbles, featured competent, intelligent officers responding in character to an absurd external problem. By contrast, the Starfleet Academy moment centers on a student at the Federation's most elite institution appearing shockingly careless. For many fans, Picardo's response was seen as a deflection rather than a rebuttal, treating fundamentally different criticisms as if they were the same. Perhaps most telling is that Picardo's confrontational posture towards fans predates the series itself. On January 11th, before Starfleet Academy premiered, Picardo addressed criticism preemptively with a broader cultural framing. Long before the term existed, Star Trek's heart was woke, and even though that word has been hijacked and made a cudgel to insult, to ridicule, and, at the toxic extremes of social media, to justify prejudice and racism, Star Trek's heart is strong and still beating for those listening, he said. That's
correct.
Well, hit it. Go ahead and go.
All right. So first of all, I love when kooky leftists do this because it's been their bag for like the last 15 years. Star Trek is a thought experiment, first and foremost, whereas wokeness is a never-ending lecture wrapped in a temper tantrum. So right then and there, boom, you've got two diverging things that cannot occupy the same space. Two, Star Trek is post idealism, so it exists in neither right or left space. Three, frankly, if we're going to be honest, anything that was considered remotely liberal in the 60s up until probably to 2010, if you look at it now as a modern day progressive / wokester, you're going to scream it's Republican. So you cannot take Star Trek and try to bend and twist it to modern day sensibilities as though it's there to justify your existence. The show is rooted in professionalism, duty, morality, and being competent and having control of your emotions. Something which also works in direct opposition of wokeness. Well, if you're really going to dive into it, you can really talk about what woke really was, and there's a whole, divergence in King and his. It's just we don't have enough time to really break down what woke really is.
Well, I think my objection to his statement is more at the beginning of it, when he says that the term was hijacked to cudgel and insult, when the term itself was used as a cudgel to insult those who were supposedly non-woke, blind to the idea that there were all of these injustices that only the woke could address. And
shut up.
What's that?
Shut up. Wake up. Don't be woke. Dummy.
Yeah. That statement effectively positions skepticism towards the new show not as a creative disagreement, but as a moral failing. To many longtime fans, this framing reinforced a growing belief that dissent is no longer engaged on its merits, but instead dismissed as ideological hostility. Taken together, these moments paint a consistent picture. Picardo is not merely defending creative choices, he's actively challenging the legitimacy of fan criticism itself. Whether the issue is canon, tone, or characterization, his responses tend to minimize concerns rather than address them directly. For a franchise that once prided itself on thoughtful debate, internal consistency, and respect for its audience, the exchange highlights a widening gap between modern Star Trek creators and the fans who sustained the brand for decades. As Starfleet Academy continues to roll out, that divide shows no signs of narrowing. So, my understanding is that this thing's got 8 episodes for season 1. Is that right?
Yeah.
Are they all released, or are they dribbling them out?
They're dribbling them out a week at a time. Yeah. They did. The premiere was the first 2 episodes, which, by the way, I should point out that so as we know, the Spock controversy, but more appropriately, the talking about William Shatner. So we also TMZ does a story of William Shatner eating cereal at a traffic light. It's funny in unto itself. But Shatner, being Shatner, chose to respond to the story, and his Twitter post. His just his original Twitter post, where he talks about how health is wealth and all that stuff, and how you have to eat your breakfast and all that stuff. So the free debut of a Star Trek show on YouTube only has been able to, I think, amass somewhere around 240K people watching it. This is 2 weeks in the release. As of last night, Shatner was at I think over 145,000. Just people watching the original tweet, which he had split across his Twitter and his Instagram. So I didn't look. I forgot to look at the Instagram number to give you what the actual total was. But it's like, okay, William Shatner eating some cereal has garnered more actual interest than the debut of a flagship series for a 60-year-old IP on the world's largest streaming platform for free.
So are you going to continue to watch the show, or?
No, I will, simply because some of my videos have gotten like 3,000 views on me just talking about this show. So I will endeavor to endure.
I know there was some debate as to whether or not season 2 has already been shot and or canceled. If it continues beyond season 1, are you going to continue watching it?
I'll try. Discovery was so bad that I made it through the first season of Discovery, but that was only really because what's his name, Jason Isaacs, was so strong an actor that I found that what they were doing with his character was kind of fascinating, but everything around him was a cornucopia of diarrhea. But he was great.
The worst kind of cornucopia.
Yes. And then I popped in for seats. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And then Strange New Worlds, I thought was okay. There was, and then we got to Singing Cleons. Well, first, I didn't think I was going to make it past the first episode when they blamed J6 for World War III, and I'm like, okay, I'm out. And I was like, nope, give it a chance, because at the time, I liked Anson Mount before he became Picardo Part 2, and just goes on unhinged social media rants about people who disagree with him. And then that show lost because they don't know how deflector dishes work and all the crap. And you realize really quickly that the people who write the show are the same people who put nipples in the bat suit. The Akiva Goldsman.
Lorn's face.
I'm just, he's not wrong. I just hadn't put those things together, and where my mind went was suddenly I was picturing nipples on Starfleet officer uniforms, and it wasn't a good mental image. Because I actually kind of think Shatner would have been into that, but
and then I know we're supposed to pretend that Picard season 3 was the good season, but
on the other hand, 7 of 9 would probably get me watching Voyager again.
Well, that's why she exists in the first place.
Yep.
And then she gave us Obama.
Trish, I don't know if you've been following this at all. Have you ever watched Star Trek in any of its capacity?
No. I do know everyone hates this thing. And when I say hate, it's putting it lightly. I understand that. So I know that much about it. And that Picardo guy looks so familiar to me. And I can't decide if he just has a certain look where he just looks like somebody or if he actually was in something I would know.
Probably. He's been in lots of stuff over the years. He's a guy that pops up in all kinds of shows and sometimes things that you wouldn't expect. So I would not doubt at all that you've seen him in something.
Yeah, I got to look him up because like when you were scrolling through the article, I was looking at his face. I'm like, that dude is pinging my radar. Like, I definitely know that face.
My favorite role of his is when he plays the cowboy in Inner Space.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to be where I know him from. What's his first name? I'm going to have to look this up. This is going to bother me.
Robert,
because my brain kept calling him Ricardo Picardo, and I knew that wasn't right. Okay. Picardo.
Oh, yes. He's also the gym teacher.
he pops up in Justified, too, for one episode. You know, he's in all kinds of stuff. And he turns up in lots of different serial TV shows, so I would not be the least bit surprised if he popped up in one of the shows that you are a fan of. He might even pop up in Supernatural. It would not surprise me one bit.
Well, that's it. My favorite thing that he did, actually, in all seriousness, was he was Inspector Spacetime. They made when Community just before Community ended, they actually made a very brief Inspector Spacetime web show, and he was the inspector.
Well, not to poop all over that statement, but in a very Trish fashion, yes, he was absolutely in an episode of Supernatural. And the second I read the title of the episode, I went, yep, that was what was sticking in my head. So for anyone who cares, he was in season 6's Clap Your Hands If You Believe. So check it out. Picardo's in that one.
Picardo.
Does not surprise me a bit. Our next story is Nerdrotic says Star Trek will never recover from Starfleet Academy. Kurtzman killed Star Trek.
That's dead, Jim.
In one of his latest Nerdrotic at Night live streams, Gary Nerdrotic discussed one of the biggest hot topics of the day, how Alex Kurtzman destroyed Star Trek. 60 years since its inception, Star Trek as a franchise is finished, and with the poor ratings and overall poor reception from the fans, at least the real ones, that Starfleet Academy is getting, all we can do is laugh. Star Trek will not recover from this, says Gary, with an exasperated sigh. And how unfortunately right he is. This franchise is a mere shadow of its former self, and there seems to be no way to fix it if anyone even bothers to try. But how to go about this? Well, as Gary suggests on Nerdrotic, the best way to make amends is to erase everything Alex Kurtzman has done to Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
It would be preferable for the studios to come up with compelling original stories, but it's impossible for them to get out of their own narcissistic ways, to stop self-inserting themselves into the stories as cardboard cutout caricatures. The next item on the list is to clean house, so to speak, and as Gary says, continue on a bit after, not 1,000 years, the next generation in Deep Space Nine. But are they going to do it? No, Gary bluntly answers the question posed. And even if this did happen, how many people would watch at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Gary believes the IP farming will not stop here, sadly enough. They're just going to stop with the Gen X, and they're going to move to Millennial, and then Gen Z. They're going to move to video games. They're going to move to manga. Sadly, I do not see Gary being wrong on this notion. Hollywood will move on to the next big thing and leave a trail of destruction in their wake. Gary also mentions how Disney will not allow Star Wars to die off, even though it has no future either. However, as Gary points out, there is the possibility of remaking the original trilogy, which no one, especially old fans, wants, and the remakes certainly won't reach the heights of the originals, given how long ago the first film was released. But then it calls into question the use of AI and de-aging these actors just so they can reprise a role they played in their 20s and 30s. And it's a horrible idea, and I hate that I keep bringing it up, but I bring it up because it's going to happen. It's so effing going to happen. They're going to remake the prequels. They're going to remake the original trilogy. Netflix gets their hands on Warner Brothers. They're going to remake The Lord of the Rings. They're going to make the Lord of the Rings TV show with Black Aragorn and Lady Legolas, and everyone will be. Yeah.
One, I will say, I think manga will be fine because Japan has made it really clear we're not going to bend the knee to your idiocy. If you're not going to adapt it the way we want you to adapt it, you're not going to get it. So kudos for Japan. They know how to make sure socialists don't take root. We should learn from them. If you know why I'm saying what I'm saying, good for you. You've read a history book or two. I think too, if the rumors are true and there is a new Star Trek movie coming out, it's from the group that did the first Marvel Spider-Man movie. Why can't I never remember what these Spider-Man movies are called?
There's been a lot of Spider-Man movies. Are you talking about Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or the current batch with Tom Holland?
The Tom Holland one, the one that had Robert Downey Jr. in it.
Okay, so you're looking for the director of that one? Is that who's behind it?
Yeah, it's the writing team. They do have a style that I think could work for a Star Trek movie. I always do point out that Star Trek movies are very different from Star Trek TV.
Very true.
I would say the only actual Star Trek movie that we have gotten is the first movie. Everything else has been a riff off of Star Trek 2. And then Star Trek 4 is its own very unique thing.
I would say it is the most Trek-like Trek movie if you're comparing it to the TV shows.
But so I think that they have the ability to, and then also I think everybody, because they like to everybody likes to ignore what Lower Decks did. Lower Decks decanonized, or rather I should say, decanonized the Discovery timeline from Star Trek. They made it an alternate reality. So I think that's also why no Lower Decks characters get any references in Starfleet Academy, because everything else has been referenced. And I'm one of the people who like Prodigy. I enjoyed Prodigy.
That was the Voyager Kitty spinoff with Kate Mulgrew, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Like it's the first few episodes, it's Star Wars light, and then like as they develop the story, you figure out like, hey, this is why we're back in the Delta Quadrant. This is why this ship is here. And then they start bringing in more Voyager characters, and it becomes a nice little sequel story to kind of let you know where a bunch of the characters are, which was nice. It was pretty cool. So and then the other part of it too is I think people rewatch the original cast, treat the original series very differently than the next gen characters, but specifically Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart forced Picard on us. It wanted to go the direction that it went, and realized that this awful show is not going to work. And Terry Matalas did a very good job of taking, chicken bleep and turning into chicken salad. So it can work, but yeah, the big part is you just have to kind of go, none of this idiocy that happened, and just kind of move forward. And yeah, the best answer is to jump in. Like I would just, next show's real time removed from Deep Space Nine and Voyager. And that's, you don't have to go as far as TNG did from TOS, but there was far enough into the future where, like, no, you can still see a couple of classic characters and they can help move the plot along, which is how you're going to have to get people back, is bring some old school characters back and let you know where they are in the world, and then move forward. But it's not impossible. I don't think it's as bad off as Star Wars.
Well, I get the impression, I don't know if this is true or not, but I get the impression that it sounds like Kurtzman's trek is likely on the way out. I think that the reason that they put this on YouTube was specifically so they could show nobody likes your stuff. The Ellisons can then broom them and say, all right, we're going back to basics. So I feel like both Star Wars and Star Trek right now, to me, feel like they are in the middle of a pivot. I think Star Wars is probably actually farther along than Star Trek will be. But I've heard chatter about Star Trek as well, that it sounds like they are planning something special. And I think whatever it is they're planning, it's not going to be this year, but I think they are planning something special this year as well, because it is the 60th anniversary of the series. So they've got to have something up their sleeve. And I think that maybe announcing what their plans are might be part of that. So we'll have to wait and see.
As long as it's not Kurtzman based, I think people will be very receptive. I'll put it to you like that. Because at least the difference, I think, between Star Wars and Star Trek is Star Wars, the story group, especially Pablo Hidalgo, they were very antagonistic to the point that they almost made your love of Star Wars, they went out of their way to almost ritualistically humiliate you and punish you for being a fan.
Yep.
And Star Trek has really been more just under the stewardship of someone grossly incompetent.
Yep, I think that's all fair and accurate too. Trish, I know you've been heartbroken by the devastation of both of these franchises. I just wanted to give you an open floor to vent about it a little bit.
Kevin summed up all of my emotions succinctly and intelligently.
Oh, no. A man cannot properly... We can't emote the way that a woman can. I'd really like to hear your agony over how these shows have been done dirty. I know you especially, I think, felt that Kate Mulgrew was not handled properly in Voyager, and might want to discuss that a little bit.
She was not, and the amount of times I cried at night from the pain, it was unbearable. I'd rather not talk about it. It was a very dark time.
I'm going to go for a rant here. I also noticed, because in my last video, I watched their stupid little red carpet celebration, where everybody takes the time to pat themselves in the back, and in between Holly Hunter not being able to enunciate words anymore, she's like, I appreciate the legacy of Star Trek, especially Kate Mulgrew, who led the path. And I'm like, Kate Mulgrew is not the first female captain on the show. There were female captains on the show before Kate Mulgrew.
Yeah, that's what I said every night.
That's what I wanted to get out of you, Trisha. You left me disappointed.
And they messed up Doctor Who too. Thanks, Trish. I agree.
It's just sometimes wounds run so deep, Lorn, that it's self-preservation not to tap into those emotions.
Well, I hope you're self-preserving well. We do have some super chats to get to. We've got Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian. You can't believe it, Trish? I almost fell over.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting in that chat. I have a wrench too, though, Fox. So you just watch yourself.
SFX Sabertooth Raptor for 10. I got it. Lorn creates a backstory for Sev, Clone Commando, First Rebel Commando, and Commandeers of Venador Force sensitive. Thoughts? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Terminator 2, B&B. What is that one?
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty
I'm
and the
betting.
Beast. There you go. Hook, Shipwrecked, Backdraft, etc. Better than today. Totally agree with that list.
100%.
I'm having to parse the first part, though. I get Sev is a clone commando. He's the one that was left on a cliffhanger at the end of the Republic Commando game. First Rebel Commando, which could make sense, especially if his chip is deactivated prior to Order 66. And Commandeers of Venator, are you saying that he is force sensitive? Because that's the part where you'd lose me. I know you had asked the question before as to whether or not they could theoretically be force sensitive, but I don't think Sev would be force sensitive. His personality, I don't see him as being a force user. And if he was, he certainly wouldn't be a Jedi. He'd go down the other path, I think. He is the laconic, taciturn sniper of the group, and I just he's a head popper. He's not somebody who's going to be getting in tune with his inner self. I don't think. Anyway, if that's what you were asking, I love everything right up to the force sensitive part. Chef Eddie for 5. Remember the CG video Shatner did with Spock? That was Star Trek. Kurtzman is not.
Yep. Well, and you look at how that performed. That when they wrapped that up, and that was done by the Roddenberry Institute. The it should have been proof positive that there's still a ton of life in the franchise when you give the fans of the franchise what they want, and they did a marvel, and they didn't shy away from Discovery. They didn't. They actually used one of the Discovery characters to get Kirk over to the Kelvin timeline to say goodbye to Spock. So at the end of the day, it's like if you just give people quality storytelling, they'll be pretty forgiving. But it's got to be quality. It's always quality over spectacle, especially when it comes to Star Trek. It just, it's the show was designed purposefully to be intelligent. Roddenberry went out of his way and fought with the networks for a very long time to not be like everybody else. And that's not to say that he felt the shows were dumb, but he wanted Star Trek to have a very, very particular tone, and to be a lot more thought-based as opposed to pew, pew, pew. And we're getting something that is not what it was ever intended to be. And sure, the Berman, after Roddenberry dies, the Berman years do some really strange things, but it was always done in keeping with, well, what would Gene do? They
were trying to do variations on a theme. They were trying to see how far can we stretch this,
Yep.
How far can we push it and still have it be Star Trek that is in line with Gene's vision.
Yep.
Whereas what the new crop is saying is that no, that old stuff is bad. Thinky hurts. Pew pew pew. Laughs. Don't worry about it too much. It just becomes dumb.
They have the Doctor. I can't remember the setup, but they dedicate at least 2 scenes to space snot. I'm pretty sure it's called space snot.
There you go. Liquid Fox gifted 1 WDW Pro membership. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Your wrench is well earned. And then we got Sean, formerly artist John, for $1.99. Star Wars is diversity in dinosaurs. Star Trek 2. I'm trying to parse that statement because I'm not sure that I'm following. I guess you could say that modern Star Wars is, and you could definitely say that Star Trek is at this point too. But I don't know that it's going to stay that way. Like I said, I think we're in the middle of a sort of a pivot, a renaissance, I hope, in the offing, because I think that they finally realized that the tide has turned and they need to start making money again. Our next story. Rose Tico actress Kelly Marie Tran calls Kathleen Kennedy exit such a loss for Lucasfilm.
Oh yes, that's just like how you mourn the loss of cancer cells.
Rose Tico actress Kelly Marie Tran is weighing in on the Kathleen Kennedy departure from Lucasfilm, and in doing so, she appears to frame the longtime executive's exit less as a business or creative shift, and more as a symbolic loss tied to identity and longevity. Tran, who portrayed Rose Tico in Star Wars The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, spoke about Kennedy's leadership while appearing at the Variety Studio during the Sundance Film Festival. Asked what Kennedy's tenure meant to her, Tran described the situation as such a loss for the Star Wars franchise. She's had such an incredible career, Tran said. To have someone who is not just a woman, but who is so capable in that role for so long, and it's historic. I think that it's such a loss, but I'm very happy for all the life changes she is making. What's striking about Tran's response is not what she says, but what she doesn't. There's no mention of box office performance, audience reception, or the increasingly fractured relationship between Lucasfilm and longtime Star Wars fans. There's no reference to the franchise's uneven theatrical output since 2019, the mixed response to Disney Plus originals, or the prolonged development issues that have plagued multiple announced films. Instead, Tran's praise centers almost entirely on Kennedy's identity and duration in the role. Kennedy, who led Lucasfilm for more than a decade after being personally selected by George Lucas, oversaw an era defined by aggressive expansion, creative turnover, and polarizing storytelling choices. While the sequel trilogy achieved strong box office results early on, the long-term brand impact has been widely debated, with The Rise of Skywalker often cited as a reactionary finale rather than a cohesive conclusion. Since then, Lucasfilm has struggled to launch a new theatrical Star Wars film, repeatedly announcing projects that stall, change creative leadership, or quietly disappear altogether. At the same time, Disney Plus series like The Mandalorian found early success by distancing themselves from sequel-era storytelling, a contrast that has not gone unnoticed by fans. Tran's comments notably avoid engaging with any of this context. By framing the departure of Kathleen Kennedy primarily as a loss because she's a woman who held the position for a long time, the implication by Kelly Marie Tran seems less about measurable outcomes and more about representation and symbolism. That framing mirrors a broader trend in Hollywood discourse, where leadership changes are often discussed through identity-based lenses rather than performance-based evaluation. It also sidesteps the reality that Lucasfilm's leadership transition is happening after years of mounting criticism, declining audience enthusiasm, and internal instability, not in spite of them. None of this diminishes Kennedy's historical significance or her decades-long career as a producer. But for many observers, the question surrounding her exit has never been whether it's historic. It's whether Lucasfilm's next chapter can restore confidence in a franchise that wants to find blockbuster filmmaking. Tran's remarks suggest that, at least from her perspective, that question may be secondary. Whether fans agree is another matter entirely. Now, Trish, I think as a woman, you should have first crack at this story, because I know you're probably personally mourning the loss of Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm as well.
Oh, it's up there with Kate Mulgrew and the pain at night.
You know, actually, I think you might be happy about her going, because if things get less bad, we're less likely to talk about it.
So, I don't know. Or maybe we'll just be talking about it in a different way.
Well, I'd be happy to talk about it in a different way.
I don't blame you.
It would be nice to talk about something we like for a change.
I get it. You know, I was just sitting there thinking, though, about how it's like, you know, they go representation. Oh, it's such a loss. Why? She's not a good representation of a woman doing anything. She sucked at her job. Just because she's a woman doesn't mean I want her representing me. I want a smart, capable woman representing me, if that's going to be what we're basing things on. Like, that's so stupid.
Heresy. You are speaking heresy.
Yeah, well, I said it.
Don't you know that your genitalia means solidarity in the face of the patriarchy?
It's like they only take it so far. Well, this is representation. Yeah, but like, did you want to pick someone good for it? Or it's just like, here's a bone, just like, here, take that.
No bearing here.
I cannot believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to run some cover for Kathleen Kennedy.
Listen, I'm just going based on what y'all say. So.
I know. But in the interest of being accurate, George Lucas is the one who picked her.
Did he really?
Yeah, I can't foist this off on Disney. This is everybody believes that his intent was that they're friends, they have a long history, I think everybody privately believes that George thought that he was going to continue to be able to influence storytelling and direction through her because they were friends. I think he was still a bit nervous about turning over his baby to Disney. I think he trust I,
Flavors.
I think he trusted her, and that was a fatal mistake.
Mhm.
Now, the real question I think is, why did Disney keep her?
Well,
And
I think the representation thing is probably why.
well, I'm sure that's part of it. But I mean, at a certain point, this was more than glaringly obvious, and that point was 6 years ago. You know, and granted, I do privately believe that for the last 2 years they have been quiet. They've gone pretty quiet. They pretty much canceled or put on hold development of pretty much everything. I think they put the kibosh on anything that has anything to do with the sequel trilogy. So I think the pivot has actually been quietly internally going on for a while. But that's still 4 years during which they should have acted previously.
How long
So
ago did that South Park episode come out? Because I'd love it if the South Park episode was what woke them up and made them be like, maybe we need
I
to
don't think
rethink this.
I don't think the South Park thing was it. I do think the Acolyte was it. I think that was her very last chance. It's like it was bad enough that she wrecked Star Wars, but then she wrecked Indiana Jones, and then her last big project that she just knew was going to be the winning thing. It was going to be the thing that ties it all together. It was her big project was the High Republic and the Acolyte. And I think she thought the Acolyte was going to be her crowning achievement. This is going to be the thing that shows all of us fools that we don't know what we're talking about, and she can make good Star Wars. And it got mocked not only by us, but by her side too. It was so bad that Disney took the rare step of coming out and saying, no, we ain't making any more of this crap.
She had loyalty somewhere along the line for some reason, because I find it hard to believe that for all of the incapable people who have seemingly no ties to anything that they hire on a regular basis, they couldn't find someone with no ties that actually had a passion and knowledge for Star Wars somewhere along the line. So,
Well, this is kind of one of the most fascinating things is that there is a moment after she was hired in 2012 where she was at some women's symposium, and I don't remember what the organization was, but it was a feminist organization, and she was talking about her career and what she felt was important about her career, and she was talking about how she came up and was originally a camera operator and a floor manager for a local news station, and she was talking about how some women's organizations got involved in helping to move her up the ladder through advocacy and how she wanted to do the same thing. But during this interview, the interviewer asked her about her favorite things about Star Wars, and she completely deflected on the question and said, well, she wasn't really a fan of Star Wars, but of what Star Wars did in the industry, and it became really obvious she's not a fan of the source material. She either hasn't watched it or didn't like it, and that played into everything that she did after that. She wanted to reposition it as something that she would like. I have never seen such a blatant example of inserting your own ideology or doing self-inserts into the actual projects as what she did. It became very obvious Kathleen Kennedy's got a type that she views herself as. And weirdly, it's, as Marvin would say, a stork-like brunette that's got an English accent. So,
she's definitely written fanfic, self-insert fanfic for something. Well, not necessarily Star Wars, it was something, because she's definitely got the approach of people who passionately write that. No judgment. I'm just saying, she definitely has that kind of passion in that kind of way that somewhere at some point she's absolutely written something with a character that is thinly veiled to be her.
Yep.
Or she's made Gary Marshall hire someone to do it.
So what are your thoughts, Kevin?
Whenever you see stories like this, the one thing that's always missing is they made it on their merit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, just like Trish said, okay, so what, you're sad because a woman's gone? Well, in that case, let's go ask Marsha Lucas what she's doing. and actually hire someone who understands it and had a hand in making sure that it stayed good, and then go from there. As opposed to just bringing any old person with a set of ovaries to come and steer the ship. And at this point, I think anybody with just a random set of ovaries, not even their own, just a random set of ovaries, would do a better job. So, and
I don't want to pitch this as an anti-woman thing. Bryce Dallas Howard has done great work.
Phenomenal. And what's her name too? Who's the other female director?
Deborah Chow.
Yeah, Deborah Chow.
Deborah Chow did great too. Yep.
Well, you saying that is just a consequence of them always doing the bare minimum in the name of their representation. So you feel like you have to say that. It's like, well, if they would have just hired the right people and given the opportunities to people who earned it in the first place, you wouldn't even feel compelled to say that because it wouldn't be necessary.
Yep.
Also, I constantly think of Kevin Smith going, sometimes people in Hollywood just fail upwards. And that's what I think of in times like this. Like, I think about that Steven Spielberg clip about her, how she was only great at getting coffee. And it's like, yeah, it sounds to me, based on a little bit I know, I'm totally open to be proven wrong. She failed upwards. That's just what it feels like.
Well, it's a Peter Principle thing. She was a producer. She wasn't a creative, and she got put into a position where she had creative control, and I think that she wanted to prove that she was just as creative and could hang with the big boys as the people that she was surrounded with. I think that she had heard throughout the years that people attributed her success to being surrounded by Spielberg, Lucas, and her husband, Frank Marshall. And I think that probably affected her personally, and she wanted to prove herself. See, I can do this too. But it turns out, no, she really couldn't. And that's unfortunate. But I think the more unfortunate thing about it is that George trusted her. He's the one that put her in this position. And I feel like she stuck a knife deep in his back. Now, whether he feels that way, I don't know. I don't know what they have said to each other personally, whether it's actually damaged their relationship or not. There's all kinds of rumors out there. Whether they're true or not, no one can say. But if I were George, I sure wouldn't feel good about how things went. So there you go.
George has made it clear he's not happy about how things went. I sold my baby to white slavers.
But does he blame that on her, or does he blame it on them? I do think he thought that he was going to have some backdoor control. I think that he thought he was going to get to do all the fun parts without all the responsibility. And then it turns out that they just didn't want to have anything to do with him.
Yeah, that sounds like that's how it goes. Didn't that happen with the author of The Witcher? And it sounds like it was happening with, because I was listening to you guys with George R.R. Martin with some recent thing, and he felt like he was being creatively ignored. And I know he's had his problems with writing his material, but at the end of the day, they're still doing stuff based on his work, and you should really just listen to the person who created all of that stuff, at least consider it sincerely. And it just seems like they don't do that anymore at all.
Before we change topics, I would like to shout out the chat, and I appreciate your advocating for men against Amazonian masterhood. No, ma'am.
Nice. I like it. Next up, we got the critical drinker on Knight's Path, when developers just say no, and how a small indie game is making waves before its release. Have you guys heard about this one?
Yeah,
no.
I read this and what?
Yep, this makes me happy. According to the Critical Drinker, Knight's Path is a low-fantasy medieval RPG currently in development on Steam that made headlines a few days ago after making a response on social media that sent waves online in the best way possible. Many have already wishlisted the game after the developer responded to a comment under their post, introducing one of the characters available to romance, which, of course, brought out the fringe weirdo shippers. If you're one of those lucky people who have no idea what shipper or shipping means, first of all, bless you. And second of all, sorry, but I'm going to inform you of what it is. It's better to know what the term means in order to avoid these people at all costs. To put it simply, a shipper is a fan who believes with every fiber of their being that there can, should, and will be a romantic relationship between two characters in a fandom, and this is not limited to heterosexual couples. This indie game developer announced the character Emily about a week ago, which caused quite a shock for many common-sense people because this character is actually a woman. And she is attractive and, most amazingly, white. Because, the game is set in medieval Europe. Therefore, the chance of seeing a person of color is very slim. And this is what she looks like. Of course, as mentioned earlier, a commenter came up into the fray asking for, yep, you guessed it, LGBTQ representation. The drinker points out that the account is likely a parody one, having fun at the expense of the modern audience, particularly given its profile picture. But despite that, it was the beautiful, blunt response from the developers that caused the headlines and convinced many gamers to add the game to their Steam wishlists, and rightly so. This is how you win people over, by not bending the knee to a few people who demand diversity and inclusion. Their response? We care about gaming and fun, not modern agendas.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Some are genuinely upset about this response, seriously wanting a game like all the other slop AAA game studios pump out. But the funny part is, as the critical drinker says, these people were never going to purchase Knight's Path in the first place. They don't even care about supporting these indie devs, let alone actually playing the games. They seek attention and validation, nothing more and nothing less. We do not need to see ourselves in characters because we're not narcissistic morons who demand validation for part of our lives, to paraphrase the drinker. We want compelling stories and well-written characters we can relate to, not flat cardboard cutouts parading as good characters when they're the furthest thing from it. If the story is about Drinker's example of a black wheelchair-bound lesbian, gamers don't care as long as it's a compelling character. Representation is not the most important part of every story, especially in period pieces about medieval England. This isn't how a story is told, nor how we are as humans, because it doesn't matter what we look like. If the product is good and created by people passionate about their work, it shows through and compels others to support it. The critical drinker ends by wishing the makers of Knight's Path well. I think it's safe to say that it'll be a smash hit once it's released. Now, another interesting thing about this story is that there was another game that got announced at the same time, and I don't remember the name of it, forgive me.
No.
But it's in a similar vein where it is a medieval story that is following an Italian lesbian knight who is going to basically rescue her princess from a situation. And so this is going to be the rare case where you have two games that are developed at roughly the same time, releasing at roughly the same time, dealing with roughly the same subject matter. And we'll get to see with hard numbers what sells and what doesn't. So that'll be interesting to see.
All those open lesbians running around.
In Italy.
Medieval Europe and Italy.
Black, bisexual, Anne Boleyn.
Now, on the video that I watched about this, though, the one thing that did strike me as funny is that the critic who was commenting on this other game that I'm talking about said, name me one female knight that you can think of, and immediately I thought Joan of Arc. That wasn't hard.
Me too.
It's like it's not like you couldn't do a story that involves, because there is historical precedent. It was unusual. It would be odd. But we're talking about the seat of the papacy in the Middle Ages. I guarantee you there were no lesbian knights at this time. Didn't happen. Sorry. So,
not openly anyway.
Right. It's like if there were, guarantee they passed as men. So anyway,
They were your local gym teachers.
Also, I would just like to say, I don't want to cut you off, Lauren.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I would just like to say that shipping, quote unquote, stupid term, is another example of taking something very basic and normal, especially if you watch certain kind of programming. You watch a story unfold and you get behind two characters having a romantic relationship and turning it into something it does not need to be. It's putting that in nothing that's being written in the show. You're not feeling that way because of anything you see on the show. It's stuff you're mentally putting in there. You're doing it a lot of the times against the grain of what the characterization of the two characters is. And then you are not only insisting that this be the way it unfolds, but getting actively angry and belligerent when it doesn't unfold that way. Destiel fans, I'm looking at you.
So just to have integrity in the reporting, I want to give you the name of the other game. It is called 1348 Ex Voto. So if you want to look it up, that's the other game.
What is it again?
1348 Ex Voto. EXVOTO.
What's funny was I was going to go, nah, I'm good. And Kevin's like, let me run to look it up right now.
And Guys, I see that you're talking about the ghost cloud over my head. Yeah, I know. This has to do with a number of different factors. Part of it is the green screen behind me. Part of it is the lighting, and it reacts differently to what color shirt that I'm wearing. If I had better lighting, we'd have less of the fuzzies. I can adjust it manually a little bit. This is as good as I could get it tonight. So
Lorn's got a case of the fuzzies.
yeah, I apologize for it, but that's just the realities of where I'm shooting. So sorry about that. Um, anyway, that's all the time we need to spend on that story. It wasn't a big one, but I did think to take off the shirt. Yeah, okay, that's going to make me more reflective, and you'll probably get a lot more fuzzy. So, not to mention, I myself am fuzzy, so I don't know that helps things at all. Anyway, I thought that was a fun story because it's another sign that people are getting less willing to bend the knee, and hopefully that means that you're going to get a good game out of that studio. There's a couple other stories that we could cover, but we've got 32 movies to discuss, so I think it's probably time to get into our main topic. And Trish, you got your stuff into me first tonight, so you're going to be the first to go. We are talking tonight about movies that released in 1991, and this series was suggested by Kevin when he started looking at all of the great stuff that was coming out in the 90s, and they had hit after hit after hit after hit that was coming out just back to back. It's kind of incredible when you start seeing the numbers that we're talking about. So, thought it would be fun for each of us to compile some lists of some of the movies that come out of each of these individual years, and talk about them a little bit and why they made an impression on us. So the first one that we have up for you, Trish, is...
Woohoo! Silence of the Lambs. I mean, come on. It's just such a good movie. Didn't it win Best Picture? I feel like it did. And it was like the last time a horror movie, potentially the only time a horror movie won Best Picture. I don't know.
Do you consider it a horror movie? I always looked at it as a thriller.
They're kind more or less. You know what I mean? Like I consider those two genres siblings. Essentially, okay. It sits on my horror shelf. It's like calling it a thriller is like tomato. You know what I mean? It's, to me, they hold hands. So if someone wants to argue the semantics of it, I'm not going to argue them. But you know,
all right.
I mean, Kevin, the meme with Goodbye Horses. Kevin and I are constantly sending each other things that use that meme. So there's that too. It's just, if you haven't seen it, it's just so, I mean, it's dark, but it's layered and it's deep. Anyone who knows me and Crime and Punishment and all that is not even remotely surprised that I would put this movie on here. It's just, it's one of those movies where I'm like, what do you say about it that people haven't said? I mean, Anthony Hopkins, Jodie Foster. I kind of feel like when they made the other movies and they couldn't get Jodie Foster anymore, they just shouldn't have bothered.
Yeah, I because it's not to take away from Juliette Moore, but
no, at all.
But no, they never should have made that Hannibal movie. Everybody wanted to see the two of them together, and they should have just gone backwards. They should have, they should have just gone backwards, which ultimately they wound up doing anyway. But
they should have just left it alone. Honestly, they should have just let this stand on its own, but they were never going to do that with how big it was.
Next up.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Okay, here's the thing about Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. When you're young and you see this movie, you just sort of accept the conceit of it. And then you get older and you're like, the mom was just going to be gone like a weekend. And Christina Applegate's freaking out like she's got to tend to these children for a year without her mother and has to start getting a job and lying about it because she's got mouths to feed and a roof to keep over their head. And I'm just like, when I went back later on, I'm like, the mom was gone like no time at all. They would have been perfectly capable of surviving with what was in the house. Until the mom came home.
Wasn't it like 2.5 weeks or something like that?
It was so short. At worst, they might have had to scrounge up a little bit of money to go to the grocery store once and buy, like, I don't know, some milk and cereal to get through. Like, it was not a substantial length of time for the lengths that she went to take care of them.
It's not that kind of movie, kid. I mean, you know what you're going for. You know, it's for the comedy and the ridiculous situations. It's like if you're treating this as a documentary, I think that I need to sit down and talk to you about how to watch movies.
I'm just saying the difference between watching it as a kid, where you just kind of watch it like tra la la, and then you see it again when you're old, and you're like, wow, that really wasn't as long as I remembered it being. In my
oh no, this is ridiculous. I can't watch this.
Lorn Connor, you know very well what I'm trying to say. Stop being difficult.
And now for something completely different.
Kevin. Did you put this on your list, Kevin?
I did.
Kevin, I love this movie.
When Lorn told me that you had it on your list, I immediately responded,
Ritz. Have you ever seen this, Lorn?
Yes, but it's been a long time ago.
Mind you, it's not actually a funny movie. Kevin and I we can't stop these Ritz every time we see it. It's actually legitimately an excellent movie. And it's probably one of my favorite things I've ever seen Harrison Ford in.
It's not a bad movie. You know, the thing is, though, Harrison had this weird streak in him where he wanted to make serious movies that were about serious subjects. And one of the first ones that he did that with was Mosquito Coast, which is a terrible movie. It's an awful movie. Don't watch it. It's bad. And he kept having to come back and do The Lighter Fare, which is what made him famous. I feel like this was another one of his attempts to be taken seriously as a serious actor. This one worked out better than I think some of his other ones. But it was never going to be, you know, that's not what audiences wanted him for, you know? They wanted him doing the pulpy stuff because he was the best at it.
Which is funny because then there's me over here being like, this is one of my favorite things Harrison Ford's ever done. In typical me fashion, always going against the grain, but...
Well, don't get me wrong. He had some rules like that. It's like, I really like Witness, which is a good movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
And, you know, there's obviously Blade Runner that people will point to. But...
Do people like he was in Sabrina, right?
Yes.
The remake
yeah.
of Sabrina. People like that, right?
I love Sabrina personally. I love that movie.
Yeah, I think that it wasn't disliked, you know. The same time period, but he was doing this. There was also Working Girl. You remember he was in that?
Yes.
And so he was doing a lot of these type of roles, trying to break out of, I think, the action pulpy stuff that he had been known for doing. He wanted to do something that was considered acting. And you could even argue that's what he's doing right now with Shifting, you know, and he's having a ball on, or I'm sorry, Shrinking. And he's having a ball on that show. So, you know, I think that he's always maybe had a bit of a sensitive spot about the fact that what he really excelled at was Indiana Jones and Han Solo. You know, I don't think that's what he really wanted to chew on.
Do you remember on Thursday when Culture used Harrison Ford as the example of an unattractive person in Star Wars? I was like, what?
Yeah, you'd think he'd point to the Wookiee, right?
Say it, Kevin.
Hey, what do you know? Chucky's gonna be a bro.
The last one that was allowed to be called Child's Play before they just started having Chucky in the title, where Andy goes away to military school and Chucky, still ever determined to transfer his soul into Andy's body, but then he finds the other little kid, tries that one. He gets interrupted at like the last second, right? Isn't there one somewhere along the line where he like almost does it?
Yes,
like, I feel like there's
almost
one.
gets Andy, and then he almost gets the kid. Like really, like super duper close. Almost gets the kid to the point that you know all the words to the incantation if you did not know them by now.
And then it has a young God, what's her name? Perry
Jennifer
something.
Tilly. Or did she come later?
No, she came later. The one who played Jeremy Piven's wife in Entourage. She plays like one of the military students, and I remember seeing it again after watching Entourage and going, "Hey, I know her." I mean, Child's Play movies, and then going right into this one. Although I'd say Child's Play 3 is infinitely better.
Oh, there Not even a comparison.
Freddy's Dead is so bad.
This movie is so bad. And when you find out what it was supposed to be, and then you go, and you chose to go with this?
This is the one, right, if I'm remembering correctly, that opens up with him riding on a broom like it's the Wizard of Oz.
Yes! Yes!
So stupid. Oh.
And I'm like, Edward and 3D's back for some reason? I thought we learned our lesson. Stop putting things in 3D.
Come on, we didn't learn this with Jason 3D. Friday the 13th in 3D, whatever.
I like 3D movies. I think they're fun.
They give me a headache. Like, in general, I like the overall fun concept, depending on how it's used, but it always gives me a headache. I can't do it.
Trish, I can't with you with this next one.
Why? What is it? It's for you, Nolan Thunder. It's for you.
Ditch the zero and get with the hero.
What's up with tomorrow? It's Lorn.
No.
If you've never seen it, you have to see it to understand.
No, I do not. I lived through that era.
So did I.
No, I'm sorry. He was dumb back then. I'm not going to watch a dumb movie with a dumb rapper in it. Forget it.
Lorn, no one is looking to cool his eyes for Shakespeare. You're looking to it for graffiti pants.
Listen to that sentence. Listen to what you just said. You just made a mockery of the English language.
I stand by it.
We were talking about good movies from 91, and you pull out of the list Cool as Ice.
And I will point out the wonderful Martin Stone's factoid about how the cinematographer went on to work for Steven Spielberg and how it's a beautifully shot movie to the point where they made a book about how beautifully it's shot. Cool as Ice is. So thank you for that one, Martin Stone. I did not know that until we talked about that on Lost Guys. But I half seriously put this in because it's just, come on. To me, if you like stupid movies and you can just like have fun with it, I say see it because it's so dumb. But at the same time, I just sort of put it in there for Nolan and to a lesser extent, Martin Stone. Yeah, Donovan Bradford. You need to go now. Actually, I watched the Riff Tracks version. So I would say watch that one. Also, it has the dad from Family Ties in it, which blew my mind.
Gross?
Yeah. And when his name came up in the credits, I was like, Michael Keaton's in this?
Now, if he was playing Burt Gummer, that would be one thing.
Stephen Keaton. He's Michael Gross, right? Okay, got it.
All right. Now for also something completely different and tonally wildly apart from this movie.
Yes, my girl. Listen, if you are of a certain age, and boy or girl, probably more likely girl, but boy or girl, the whole thing with Macaulay Culkin and the bees and her crying, saying how he needs his glasses, it will stick with you. This movie... Go ahead, Kevin.
Generals gathering up their masses. He can't see without his glasses.
We're laughing about it. It's actually like, it's one of those movies that to a certain degree, like if you're of the right age, I think it leaves a little bit of an impact on you. It's just such a good movie. I even liked My Girl 2, which I think came out like a year or two later. I think that was a solid follow-up, but it's just, I mean, it's like most movies where the sequel's just not as good, but I still think it's a good time. But this movie is just, I remember finding My Girl and My Girl 2 in like the $5 bin, like a dual feature DVD for like $5 at Walmart. And I was like, yoink, that is absolutely mine. So that is sitting somewhere on the shelf somewhere that I have it, but I don't know. I mean, I know Kevin's seen it. Lorn, you're a pinch older. I don't know. I think you might have been a little too old for this one to have any kind of lasting effect on you.
I heard lots of people talk about it, but I successfully avoided it and plan to keep it that way. However...
What is your beef with My Girl? Like, I can understand you're a grown man, you don't care about seeing it, but you're saying it like it's like Cool as Ice. Like,
it touches me emotionally in a way I don't want to be touched.
Oh, so it's a different reason why you're saying it.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Got it.
I don't... It's like tearjerkers? Nope, not for me. Sorry.
I do have to be in a very specific mood to watch movies that will make me cry, and I'm very rarely in that mood, so I get it.
I will say movies that do that to me, I usually like because it means they have touched me, but I'm always angry about it. It's like
How dare you?
I hate that you did this to me. I know you're manipulating me, and I don't like it. It's like when I tear up at movies, it's like I get so mad about it. It's like, stop it.
As opposed to me, who's just very empathetic and emotional, and just be like,
However,
movies.
I will say your next pick actually did offend me. I hate that you put this one on the list. This is your last one, and this pick made me mad.
How dare you? How dare you get offended by Drop Dead Fred? How dare you?
I love this movie.
Thank you, Kevin. I
Do
knew
you?
I could rely on you,
I
Kevin.
love this
All right, explain then, because I sure don't get it.
Go ahead, Kevin. I'll let you do it. You'll do it better than me.
No, go ahead.
No. Explain why you love
my
it.
friend.
Explain why.
It's a goofy movie about having an imaginary friend and all the silliness that follows with it, and just the watching this adult realize that her imaginary friend is. I just love it. It's just one of those, like, it's just absurd and just fun.
And it's Rick Mayall.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why whoever they cast as Peeves in this show will not probably fly over well with me, because he was cast as Peeves in Harry Potter and they cut him out, and he is, may he rest, he was pitch perfect casting for that role, and he is just as amazingly off the wall as you would want him to be in Drop Dead Fred. And I see Kevin knows this a little bit better than you would, Lorn. I tend to, not consciously, but I tend to gravitate towards things that could probably be considered more like cult favorite things, TV shows, movies. So like, I understand Drop Dead Fred is not a movie that large swaths of people are going to turn around and go, oh yeah, I love that movie. But
I hated this movie.
But like, people who get it, you know?
It's not like she turned around and put Young Einstein on the list.
I'm serious.
Young Einstein was not a bad movie. This was a bad movie.
No, Lorn, no. I'm not listening to you. I can
Moving
accept
on.
I can accept Cool as Ice slander, but not Drop Dead Fred.
Moving on. Now we get to my picks. I'm
I
going to
don't
pick all
like you
the
having control of the
I'm
pictures,
gonna-
Lorn.
What do you mean you don't like me having control of the pictures?
You have control of the pace of this, and I don't like it.
You want to keep talking about Drop Dead Fred? Knock yourself out.
I'll talk about Drop Dead Fred until this show is over, just to spite you.
All right, do it. Let's see what you got.
No, I don't really want to. You can keep going.
Psychoanalyze the movie. Tell me what a deep, deep movie this is that I'm just not getting.
I didn't say it was deep.
All right.
I just said it was great.
All right, explain to me why it appeals to the cult following then. What's the draw?
In all seriousness, like, do you know / like, say, like Rick Mayall and his brand of humor and acting and general personality? Because I feel like that's a make or break.
Yes, that is indeed correct. That is the make or break.
So if you don't, like, I remember watching him in The Young Ones, which is probably older than I would like to believe it is at this point. It's like, he's great in that too. He's hysterical in that. It's like, I guess you don't like Rick Mayall. And I think if you do, or you at least have no problem watching him in anything, you'll have and you like cult classic-y kind of offbeat things, which I tend to, you're gonna like Drop Dead Fred. You're just right, Kevin. You just are. And I had a friend growing up who loved it as much as me, so I know it's not just me and Kevin.
Guys, I see in the chat that some of you are saying that Rocketeer had better be on the list. I agree. It should be on the list. It didn't make it just because we already had 32, and I knew that we probably weren't going to get through everything on here.
I just didn't pick it because I figured one of you would.
It absolutely should be on the list. So consider it on the list in spirit. Moving on, we have... I'm going to pick all the conventional ones, so we'll get these out of the way so that we can get to Kevin's.
Conventional. Overrated. Let's go with Drop Dead Fred.
Yep.
Juicy old final.
I mean, how can you not talk about this one? You know, this is actually...
The Spanish poster.
Oh, I didn't even realize. No, it's not a personal. Yeah, I didn't realize. This is one of the first movies. It's like traditionally, when we would go to the movies, we would come to the city where I live in now. There used to be two theaters here. Um, but there was an old theater that existed in another town that was the other direction from my hometown that my dad had gone to when he was in high school, and it had closed down. And somebody reopened that theater. And over time, they refurbished it. I remember it was one of the first places that put in a pizza place that was in there, and you could order pizza and have it delivered to you while you were watching the movie, which was really cool at the time. Nobody was doing that at the time. It didn't have a great sound system, but it had these old school theater seats that were actually big and cushy and pretty comfortable and a giant screen. And I remember this was what I felt like my first being aware that what I was seeing was a real blockbuster. I remember there was all of this hype about the movie before it came out, and I remember being really psyched to see it and getting to go see it at that theater. And then afterwards, I remember stopping off at a Subway and getting a meatball sandwich. I just remember thinking that was a good day. That was just a good day.
Okay,
And you know, it was just kind of, it's dumb, but it's one of those memories that just sticks with you, besides the fact that it was just a good movie. It was a great sequel to the original movie that was in a totally different genre. The original movie was a horror movie. This one was a sci-fi action adventure that had the audacity to turn the villain from the first picture into the cuddly guy taking care of the kids that you're sad is destroyed at the end of the movie. So it's one of Cameron's best.
It's no Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah, that is certainly true.
Yes.
Next one up.
No, somewhere Bryan Adams is starting to sing.
Oh,
You know, I've got a weird relationship with this movie now because I love a good Robin Hood flick, and I loved this when it came out. Watching it now is a little harder because I can see the flaws that are there that I didn't see when I was 13. You know,
kind of like Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. So, like, why are you watching it that way, Lorn?
well, you always look at it with different eyes when you come back to it. But
but I mean, but you're just, it's not that type of movie, Lorn. You're looking at it in a completely wrong way now with your adult eyes. How dare you notice that?
I'm not saying it's a bad movie or that I even call it questionable. What I notice now that I didn't notice when I first saw it is that if you didn't have Alan Rickman playing the Sheriff of Nottingham, this movie absolutely does not work. It could not work without him.
About like every movie he's in, if you didn't have Alan Rickman, just follow it up.
Probably, actually, yeah, you're probably right. But it says something that I don't know if you know any of the backstory to this, but according to Alan Rickman, he said he read the script and it was garbage, and he used language that was a little stronger than that. And he basically rewrote his part to ham it up and chew scenery because he knew this movie wasn't going to work. And if that story is true, and I believe it probably is, it means that Alan Rickman absolutely saved this movie because he realized, I've got to play it over the top and ridiculous, because otherwise you can't take this seriously. And it made the movie work. I think the movie does still work, but now I get the Cary Elwes joke. It says that unlike some other Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent. I was willing to overlook that when I was 13. Now it's like, why is Kevin Costner in this movie? I'm going to let you guys talk about this next one because this is going to be a confession that I'm going to have to make. I've never seen this movie. It made
I
the
love
list.
that you assume I have, because I feel like if you haven't, there's a good chance I haven't. So, oh, okay, I've seen this.
I was at the age where I was beyond going to the Disney movies at this point, and so I didn't see it. I heard everybody talk about it. I know that it's considered a classic.
I loved it because I was about 8/9. I don't know what month it came out in. That would really dictate my age, but I loved it because for me, my first big one was Little Mermaid, which was 2 years earlier.
Yep.
And I just like dove into that, and then I went straight into Beauty and the Beast, and it was just Disney had such a great stretch there of movies that they hit at the right time and they were well done. And this one is there's a part of me that I think I probably watched The Little Mermaid more just because I was like 7 and so it really hit, but I feel like I have more of a fondness and a soft spot for this one and for Belle as opposed to Ariel.
You know what's interesting about it is that even though I never saw it, you could not escape the music. It's like they made such a tremendous deal out of all of the music from this movie. You heard it everywhere. And they had Beauty and the Beast on Ice and all kinds of ancillary stuff that was around it for years, at least the way I remember it. So
I had like a not actual Barbie brand, but Barbie, and it was the Beast, but what it was like a regular, Ken-like doll or whatever, but there was like a Beast head that you could put like a mask over him. So when you were playing with your Belle doll and you had your Beast, which I had, he could be the Beast, and then when he had to turn into the prince, you could just take off the Beast head, and now he was, the handsome, dashing prince, and it was kind of a cute way of going about it.
This next one, I'm assuming you both have seen. I'd be surprised if you haven't.
I haven't.
Really? You never saw Hook?
Well, I always say with something like this, I either haven't seen it or I have like zero recollection of seeing it as a kid.
This one surprises me because I thought you probably would have seen this one.
There's no like reason. Like I'm not sitting here like I hate Peter Pan. Or, like I don't think it just ever happened, to be honest. Or like I said, I've completely blacked out sitting through it one time.
This is another movie that I come out a little differently as an adult than I did when it came out. I loved this movie when it came out, and I still think it's a solid movie. When my son was young, this was one of them that I insisted that he watch because I knew that he would like it. But I don't like it quite as much as I did back then. I think that it does go to excess in a couple of different scenes. But Robin Williams as Peter is perfect casting. Dustin Hoffman as Hook, Captain Hook, and Bob Hoskins as Smee is even more perfect casting. So
all I can think of is "You're a crook, Captain Hook." Just Arrested Development.
I'm telling you, this movie at the time it came out, and I know people still get excited about Rufio's performance.
Do you know who loves this movie, Kevin? Ruth.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she loves this movie.
One of the toys for this were awesome. Not a lot of joints, but they were awesome. I remember seeing this during, I think it was Christmas vacation. My aunt came into town and took us to go see this. And just loved it. I think I wound up scamming my way into seeing it at least one more time in the theaters because it was a spectacle on the big screen. Now that I'm older, I kind of wonder what would have happened if Spielberg had the courage to stick to his guns and make this a musical.
No, I wouldn't want that. That would ruin it for me.
Yeah.
I could see this being a musical, just what I know of it. Like that, I could see that.
It was supposed to be, and they started filming it and then he was like, I don't want to, and he only left the one number in. But yeah, this was supposed to be a full third musical, and at the last second he got cold feet.
Julia Roberts is in Hook. I don't think I realized that. I knew the other three, but I don't think I realized she was in it.
Yeah, she played Tinkerbell.
Did she really?
Yeah, at the time I had a giant crush on her. I thought she was gorgeous, and so I loved the casting.
Also, for those keeping track at home, Lorn has now said there's 2 movies that he liked when he was young and then watched with different eyes when he was older, which is double the amount of the movies I said that to with Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
You were trying to deconstruct a comedy. You can't deconstruct comedy. It makes the joke not funny.
Stop it. It wasn't a joke. It was a complete plot point that is like if you stop and think about it.
All right, fine. Let's see you deconstruct City Slickers. This movie doesn't make sense. Why would these guys be going to a dude ranch?
How do you not see what I am talking about? You're being purposefully belligerent, Lorn.
Are you declaring that I am being deliberately obtuse?
Yes, I am declaring that. And as an ally, I find this very hurtful.
that got Andy Dufresne in a lot of trouble in The Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
Oh, well,
One of
sounds
my
like a
favorite
YP.
Family Guy gags too.
Well, City Slickers. I have seen this, but I saw it ages ago. So I remember seeing this and the second one, but I could not tell you much about it except there's
There's
Jack Palance in it.
Jack Palance. There is not too much to remember about for Curly's Gold. But this one, I actually watched this about a year ago
Oh, really?
for the first time in a long time. I think it was on HBO Max. And it's like, oh wow, this still kind of holds up.
Wasn't this nominated for an Oscar also? I feel like it was.
I remember that this was all the rage when it came out.
Yeah, me too.
It's one of those, like, there were just so many just really good movies. Like, it really is. I was punching the system, like, Terminator 2 and City Slickers was the same year, and it felt like they were eons apart. Like, I would have sworn that City Slickers was like 89, the summer of 89.
Oh, you would have thought it was earlier?
Mm-hmm. But that's just how much stuff was jammed. This is how well we used to eat at the movies, kids.
Yeah, and there's some people complaining that I picked this over The Rocketeer. I want to make clear, guys, I'm not placing movies in my list, at least, based on my personal rankings for what was best that year.
Yeah.
I'm taking a collection of movies from that year and highlighting them, because in this series, kind of the point we're trying to get across is that look at how many hits came out in this year. Now, bear in mind, there's a couple on my list here that I haven't even seen. So I couldn't possibly rank them. It wasn't that I was deliberately excluding The Rocketeer.
I didn't do that.
Movies
I didn't see.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do that.
Well, I'm fine if you do, because I'm not seeing this as us personally ranking them, although it does help to be able to talk about them if you have seen them. That is something that I like to do when we do this. But it's not about our personal rankings. The point that I'm trying to get across in the series is, look at how much great stuff came out in a year.
Yep.
It's like we're on what? Let's see. This is number 13 out of 32. Bear in mind, in 1 year, what is the last time you remember getting that number of good movies in a single year, 2 years, 3 years?
Yep.
Could you put together a list of 13 great movies in the last 4 years? I think it'd be tough.
And most of these movies don't get made today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially a comedy.
Yeah.
Especially a comedy, which actually brings us to the next one.
Yes. This is on, remember, Lorn, I had said to Lorn that I didn't want to inundate him with photos, so there was going to be ones that I didn't send a picture for, but I had on my list, and this was one of them. Both Addams Family movies are great, in my opinion.
Yeah, and this was kind of a revelation at the time, because I don't think there were any other properties outside of the TV show that had really touched on the Addams Family until this movie came out. And then suddenly they became culturally relevant again.
The Addams Family Halloween special, which I watched for the first time last year, I believe it was. And it's delightful because it's from the 70s, and it's like, I don't know what everyone was on, but there's this whole incredible song that they sing, and anyway. But yes, so, I think the Addams Family movies, this is how you do an adaptation of something and do it well. Multiple times.
Yeah, everybody was perfectly cast. They clearly respected the source material. Raul Julia is always fantastic in everything that he was in. I don't think that you could have done any better casting Wednesday at the time. Angelica Houston did absolutely fine too. It's Christopher Lloyd. Yeah, as Uncle Fester. It's like, I just don't think that you could do better than what they did here in this movie. This one made the list.
I never saw this.
This is another movie where I always marvel at how Kurt Russell can play anything. He's done the Disney teenager movies. He's played Elvis. He's been Snake Plissken. He's been a superhero dad. He's been a serial killer. Here he's a fireman. and he absolutely sells it. And the danger of firefighters and the work that they do, it was a big effects spectacle. This was, I think, the way I remember it, another part of Kurt's kind of career renaissance as he was reinventing himself again. And I think it's another one that deserves the list. I said before that my two probably favorite actors for these type of movies are Harrison Ford and Kurt Russell. I would love to sit down and talk to those guys someday about their careers.
I love your man crush on Kurt Russell, Lorn.
Well, I made a statement about that one time that I'm not going to repeat. I actually I think he's an incredible actor. I don't think that he's ever gotten the credit that he deserves, because I think he's literally a chameleon on screen, and he's kind of been treated just like as this workhorse who's always dependable and always shows up and does the job. But can you think of a guy that could play Stunt Car Mike and Snake Plissken and Santa Claus and Elvis while we're at it? You know, there's not a lot of people that could pull that off, but he does it, and so I think this is a guy who deserves an Oscar. So there you go. And I did see you guys begging for this one on the list. Here it is. This is actually a remake, and an excellent one, I believe, that has got a lot of iconic scenes in it. You had Robert De Niro and Nick Nolte in this thing. Jessica Lange. It made an impression. As remakes go, a lot of times when you're remaking movies from the era that the original came out, which I think was the 50s, if I remember right, a lot of times they fall down on the job. Not on this one. They created an atmosphere in this movie that was pure menace. Robert De Niro is a scary character, and when he plays those kind of characters, he plays them right. And I felt like he pulled it off.
I think this goes to show it depends on who you've got making these things, because I mean, how are you going to argue with Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro and Jessica Lange? Like, how are you going to argue with the people involved in this? Whereas now, if they were to attempt this, you'd go like, who? Like, I've never even heard of these people in charge of it. But you have someone of a cachet of a Scorsese, like, he's going to do it right. He's going to do it well, and he's going to do it right. And he's going to understand respecting what he's remaking. So
I see Kurt Russell has played a computer and a planet too. It's like excellent points. Yeah. This is kind of a cult classic favorite of mine, although I think it drove them nuts while they made it. But this
feels like a Kevin movie.
I love this movie. And I was so sad that we couldn't squeeze it in for the last time we did this, because Quick Change came out in 90 and we just didn't have enough time to get to, but this run of Bill Murray in the movies is just spectacular. He, like,
early 90s Bill Murray is
just
fantastic,
incredible. So like I remember I had watched Quick Change on home video, and then I got to stay with my aunt. So she had, at the time, she owned a store. She owned a lingerie store. So she was working. So she got me like a crap ton of movies to watch. And I ripped through them all. I think I watched Quick Change like 4 times. And I was like, hey, listen, can we go see this movie? And it was What About Bob? She's like, what is this? We go. And I just cackle through the whole thing.
And it was literally Bill Murray absolutely annoying the crap out of Richard Dreyfuss. Richard Dreyfuss hated the making of this movie.
It's like you can tell there are scenes in this movie where Richard Dreyfuss is not acting. He looks legitimately irritated, and he is fighting for his life.
Yep. Here's another one that's on the list that I have not seen, but I know it had a giant cultural impact because it still gets referenced today.
I never saw it, but yeah.
See, now this is another one that I thought you probably might have.
No. If with me, in all sincerity, it's probably better to just err on the side of Trish has not seen it. And then let me just surprise you when I have. But I mean,
All right.
obviously, who doesn't know about, like
Yeah.
you said, it's been referenced for so long that it's like, I'm not unfamiliar with the movie.
Kevin, I know you're a Thelma and Louise enthusiast.
All right, well, listen, what this is the foundation of girl power, man. The
Was this the first thing Brad Pitt was in? Isn't he in this as like a young guy?
oh yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at me busting out Thelma and Louise facts. Never even seen it.
I think I've only seen this once or twice, and like probably when it first came out, and I was like, oh, they died at the end, maybe.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
that's. I think it's interesting that you reference it as the girl power movie. It's like, well, is it really? Although I guess you
Yeah,
could say
I
it
know.
forecast the future pretty accurately. They did drive off a cliff. Not anybody touching that. I'm gonna get all the tomatoes. Thanks, guys. All right, that's the end of my picks. Now we're going to Kevin's.
I'm really hoping one is on your list, Kevin, because I thought you would pick it. And if not, I have to shout it out, but go ahead.
Oh, listen, double impact. This is Jean-Claude Van Damme at his absolute best. One of my favorite things is so as it goes, because this is that era of you have stories where twins get separated for reasons, and then
as they do.
and then they find out they exist later, as they do, because an evil mob boss kills their father and mother, but the bodyguard, who is also the father's friend, rescues the boys, decides to break them up, raises one, and then uses and somehow the other brother falls into a life of crime. So the one with the short hair, obviously, because if you have short hair and you wear a black tank top, you're a bad guy. And regular Von Damme is nice and pretty. And then it's just and Bolo's in this movie, and I love Bolo because Bolo is, well, at the time was the most jacked Asian man I have ever seen. Bolo to me was like he was like mini Hercules. I was like, and anytime Bolo showed up in a movie, you knew S was about to go down. But they're kicking oil drums and shooting guns and blowing things up, and then Van Damme is teaching his ladies aerobics class. This is how you do the martial arts splits, and then he does a martial arts split. It's just incredible. I love it. Kickboxer 2, a sequel to Kickboxer, but it has Cody from Step by Step, who was, at the time, I did not know, but then realized, oh wait, yeah, they did do an entire episode where he beat everybody up using karate, but without actually using karate. He was an actual BA kickboxer, and he goes in and he makes like 4 of these, I think, and they're all spectacular. They're all spectacular. I'd say if you have not had a chance to enjoy the direct-to-video Kickboxer sequels, I will tell you that you are missing out. Even the terrible Mark DeCostas one.
These first 2 movies, if you didn't say who picked what movies, I would absolutely know Kevin picked both of these. And again, 3 for 3.
I love King Ralph.
I never even heard of this, Kevin.
Unironically loves it.
I do. It's so stupid. So
it's actually kind of a fun concept, though. Yes. I'll give it that.
The entirety of the royal family shows up to take a massive family portrait, and they're all accidentally killed in an electrical accident.
As happens all the time when you get family photos.
That's right. As it happens, right? And there is a mad scramble to try to find a legitimate successor. And they find there is one American who they must bring over to assume the throne. And it is crass blue collar John Goodman.
Dan Connor.
That's right. I love this
movie. Never heard of this in my life. This is the first time I've ever heard of this movie.
You've never heard of it before?
No, I've never heard of it in my life.
Oh wow! I mean, when Roseanne was on, he became a big star with everybody else, and I think this was his first shot at a movie, and they made a big deal out of it. And
I mean,
I
I
remember the
love
trailer.
Roseanne.
Mm.
Like,
The
I
trailer
own
was
Roseanne.
Yeah, I think this is his first, like, he's starring in it, because he was always in something in the background, but this was like his first, like, it's John Goodman. We're selling this movie on John Goodman.
yep,
Today
absolutely
this
true
movie would
story.
today this movie would be made with Jack Black.
Yep, true story.
I can see that based on what you said. Kevin's just shaking his head like, yes.
I saw this in the movies, and the scene when he's at the White House dinner and he's trying to open the crab, and the thing goes flying into Winnie Mandela's freaking. Oh my god! I legitimately in tears. Legitimately in tears. I find a way often to just randomly yell to myself, I've been swimming in raw sewage and I love it.
Do you think they're going to make a second Naked Gun with Pam Anderson and Liam Neeson?
I hope they do. I hope they do.
Just wondering. It sounded like it was halfway decent, and we need comedies, so.
I finally finished it, and I really enjoyed it. The scene where he falls asleep in the car, and it's driving itself, but it's not a self-driving. He's just I freaking love Liam Neeson. I love comedy Liam Neeson. I saw the chat looking for this. So, this is another movie. I love the quote, especially when the karate guy beats everybody up on the field, and the refs be like, "Judo kick to the throat, martial arts kick to the face, 10 yards." I thought it was the funniest thing ever. But I also remember this movie being called Unnecessary Roughness when it first came out. And then they definitely changed the name of the movie as it hit theaters. But this is a super classic. I highly recommend it. Kathy Ireland, Scott Bakula, Sinbad. It doesn't get any better than that.
Who is that on the bottom left? Can we tell who that is by looking at him? Because it looks like Richard Gilmore from Gilmore Girls to me, but I don't know if it actually is him because it is a blurry photo.
All right, so there's a couple people in the chat that have to leave early. I have been trying to convince them to stay. Give me a minute. I'm going to move a couple of things ahead in the rotation because I want to make the audience happy.
Aw.
It might be Robert Loggia, by the way.
Is it? Okay. Lorn, tell us how much you love this movie, please.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I absolutely adore it. It's my favorite movie ever.
Ramirez, my friend, help me.
You're literally the only person here of the three of us that has seen this movie, so rock and roll, Kevin.
This movie, if you watch the theatrical release, this is one of the worst movies ever to be afflicted upon humanity. Ever. It is so bad. It is absurdly bad. The reason I would recommend watching it is so that you could see how awful a movie can be while trying so hard.
Wait a minute. I just realized something. Hold it. He died in the last movie.
Yes, and you want to know how he comes back?
Spoilers.
Somehow Ramirez returned.
Christopher Lambert looks to the sky, and at the top of his lungs, hand-fistedly yells, "Ramirez, my old friend, help me!" And guess who appears? And they don't explain it. They're not even at all. He's just back because he looked to the sky and asked for help.
this would seem to undo the entire there can be only one premise right on its face.
Let's not go back into that.
Clearly, this movie comes out, and they write this is a one movie premise, and it bombs in the box office, but then it explodes on home video. Everybody loves the Queen soundtrack. They're like, oh my gosh, how do we continue this movie? There is actually only one left. And someone had the probably cocaine infused idea to turn them into space aliens. We'll get Michael Ironside. He'll do anything in makeup. And you get this. And it just makes not an ounce of sense. It's in a weird dystopian future, and there's like a weird dome, and then you watch them fight together, and then they get locked up, and then he sacrifices himself, and I honestly really can't even tell you how it ends. Even though I've watched this movie I still just don't really remember how it ends, other than he fights a bad guy, and a bad guy loses. And then when you get to the third movie, none of this happened.
The amazing thing to me is that he turned down Lord of the Rings because he said he didn't understand it, and yet signed up for this piece of dreck.
Well, maybe he learned his lesson from Highlander.
This would have been yeah. Okay.
Not to take movies he doesn't understand anymore.
All right, and to right the wrong, because I agree with the chat that this was wrong and should not have been omitted.
I sincerely thought one of you would have it on there, so I just didn't even.
I assumed it was going to be on because I didn't know who was on today. But I was also like, guys, we have given this movie nothing but love on this show. We talk about The Rocketeer at least once almost every 6 weeks. It finds a way to come up in conversation. We love this movie. If we could be sponsored by this movie, we would do this.
Is this a movie poster or is this just art?
No, this is the poster.
It's a beautiful poster.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. It was all Art Deco, which was kind of in keeping with the style of the time and the design of the helmet. It's a fantastic movie. And I want to say, I think there was a publication that recently came out that was detailing the making of the movie. And in fact, one of the guys that was behind... what was the name of the show? It was on Disney Plus. It had Dan Lanigan, who's a prop guy. He was authenticating one of the original jetpacks and helmets that was used in the movie prior to putting it up for auction. And that kind of broke my heart because he had the entire costume, and he had... This was an authenticated stunt suit that was used during one of the crash scenes. Still had mud caked into the flight suit from the scene that he could screen match. But there, like I said, there was some book that recently got published that was detailing all of this stuff, and just a fantastic movie that deserved more love than it got. This is a property I would love to see a revival of if somebody could handle it properly. So
I was just going to say,
yeah,
careful what you wish for.
If somebody could handle it properly. But there you go, guys. I wanted to right those wrongs and make sure that those got mentioned because while I will never watch Highlander 2, I recognize that for a lot of you guys, it is a big, important movie that came out in that year and needed to be mentioned. So there you go. Back to Kevin's picks, because I didn't mean to jump ahead of him there, but some people were going to be leaving, and I wanted to make sure they saw it before they left.
Oh, yes, this is definitely a Kevin pick.
This is the we close out the era of Steven Seagal's movie dominance because I don't really count things like Executive Decision and the one where he's fighting evil oil barons in Alaska. This movie is Steven Seagal using everybody who is in the cast of Sopranos to try to convince you that he is Italian. And it's all he wants to do is just have someone accidentally think that he is Italian. The only thing he didn't do was wear the 1990s Italian horn to be like, look how Italian I am.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. Yeah, that's all of it. Hey, Nico. Oh, no, where's Richie? This is William Steven Seagal is chasing John Forsythe throughout the entirety of Queens and Brooklyn. The movie ends in what I can only refer to as a squash match, but it has two of my favorite things to ever happen in a movie. As Steven Seagal is making his way to go fight John Forsythe, he is killing all the bad guys, and he has a shotgun, and he shoots the shotgun through a window and shoots off the bottom half of someone's leg, and then they fall and they scream in pain. Before we get there, though, there's a fight in a bar, and he knocks a guy's teeth out with a pool cue, and then the guy gets up and goes, "You knocked my teeth out." It's just this. You do not need an ounce of brain power to enjoy this movie. You just sit down. You just sit down and you just watch the glorious overacting, while everybody in this movie does their best to be like, look at how Italian Steven Seagal is in this movie.
Aren't you in awe of how Italian Steven Seagal is in this movie?
The only thing that was missing was having him beat somebody up during the Columbus Day Parade.
Yep.
I love this stupid
Kevin.
movie. I love this
Kevin.
stupid movie.
The amount of stuff that you have seen, just that I've never even heard of, that you not only have seen, but love deeply, never fails to impress me.
It's just so. I can't remember. I don't remember what agency Danny Glover's character works for, but I think Martin Short's an accountant or something, and he witnesses something, and Danny Glover is just trying to keep him alive. But Martin Short has the worst luck, and essentially everything he does causes calamity. And you get to a point in the movie where Danny Glover actually thinks Martin Short is guilty, but he's protecting him, and he realizes, no, you are just a walking calamity. And you just watch Martin Short act his butt off. And it's just sheer slapstick up against Danny Glover, just spending the entire movie in a state of disbelief until he realizes that the only way that they are going to survive is to use Martin Short's luck in their favor. And that's how they win. Danny Glover realizes, oh my gosh, you are just unending bad luck. I know how to survive because of you. There's a scene where he gets stuck. I think he eats something he's allergic to, and he blows up. I love Rockadoodle. I do, because I love Elvis.
I love you, Kevin. You're one of my favorite people in the world, Kevin, honestly.
I'll let me be your rooster. I love that stupid song. I'm gonna rock-a-doodle you.
This is a movie I forgot existed until right now.
It gets turned into a mouse. Owl's trying
like
to eat
Fievel.
Him. Yep.
I swear to God, Kevin, the chat is about to revolt with your picks. they are apoplectic. I'm having to calm them and tell them, be patient, just trust me.
Yeah, Drop Dead Fred doesn't sound so bad now, does it, Lorn?
I would put it on my worst list, but I'm not the chat.
Rockadoodle. Oh, thank you, Kevin. I'm having so much fun. Keep going, Kevin.
The banner year of 1991. Yep. Showdown in Little Tokyo. Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee.
This movie is awesome. I love this movie, though, because there's a scene in this movie where I lost my father, absolutely lose his mind, and almost make us stop watching the movie. So, listen. Obviously, it's Dolph Lundgren. It's Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee is like finally starting to break out. So they're beating everybody up. There's this stupid scene where they're fighting a bunch of bad guys, and they wind up outside, and someone tries to run Dolph Lundgren over, and he leaps into the air. Yes, like the old school Kobe, I'm jumping over the Maserati thing. Leaps into the air and lands. And I remember my father going, "Get the bleep out of here." we fast forward the movie a little bit, and for some reason, Dolph Lundgren has to fight a dude naked. And Brandon Lee walks in and goes, "You've got the biggest rooster I've ever seen." And my father slams his hand on the table and goes, "What the bleep is this? What is this? I'm not watching this." And leaves. It was just the sheer visceral reaction to it. One of the funniest things I've ever heard.
I love that whenever Kevin starts talking about a movie that he loves, he always starts with, "This movie is amazing."
And it's always something so random and stupid. I just can't. I said to the chat, I'm like, you have to understand who Kevin is better to understand these picks. They are so him. And then they're sleeping with the enemy.
Sleeping with the enemy. Super thriller. Julia Roberts is stalked. It's awesome. That's
And that's it. Yes, I knew you would put Soap Dish.
I bleeping love this movie.
as you would.
I love soap operas.
Yep.
So I just love this movie. The Kevin Kline, Sally Fields, wound up having a daughter. I don't remember who doesn't know about it. Then she winds up trying to get close to the two of them. And as you're breaking down to the end of the movie, you realize that one of the two characters is going to be killed off in the show in a live episode. Something I don't think would ever happen in a soap ever. And then they realize what's happening, and then they start improvising their way to get through the scene to find a way to make sure they all survive. And it cuts to Whoopi's character, and she goes, "You can't write this bleep. You can't make this up." And it was a really funny meta moment. And if you've never seen Soap Dish, I highly recommend it.
Finally, what I know, Soap Dish. Anyway.
Strictly Business. This is just a stupid 90s movie where Tommy Davis is trying to get a thing, but because I was I think when this movie hit home video, it was like the middle of like my seventh grade. So everybody kept saying I was Mr. Tinsdale because I was in no way cool at all. I told everybody, "You've got the Wills of the world. I am most certainly your Carlton."
I knew this would be on here too.
Of course. Come on. How do you not love this movie? Come on. And it's got one of the best opening movie insults you would ever get. That would never be put in a movie today. It's Ernie Reyes Jr., our heroic pizza boy, asked a couple of girls if they would like a piece of pizza, and they reject him. And one of the girls goes, "In your dreams." And before he drives off, he goes, "Well, if you were in my dreams, you'd be a lot thinner." And then he pulls off. And I was like, and that is just that is a burn. Other than that, the Super Shredder, played by Kevin Nash, I always go, no one could have survived that. Not even Big Daddy Cool. And then,
I always forget that he's Super Shredder or whatever in that.
And then Ninja Rap. Come on.
Go Ninja, go. Thank you. Vanilla Ice, once again making an appearance.
Did you see he performed? I wish I could find. I think I got a picture of it somewhere. I will try to dig it up. He performed Ninja Rap at Mar-a-Lago and had a Ninja Turtle costume, and the face, because it was not a good one, it looked like it must have been like one of the awful Saban ones. While he is performing, the Ninja Turtle head looks like it's watching the performance in sheer terror.
He did not. I heard about it. I didn't see it though.
The last one. Our attempt at making either Keenan or Damon into an official action hero, and Bruce Willis had a hell of a 91, by the way. He had flop after flop after flop. And I do say, though, this movie has so many wonderful lines in it. And then they dance a jig at the end. and it happens during football, and it's an awesome movie. I love this movie. Yeah, this yeah. This is one of the I wish Eric was on here because Eric also loves this movie, and I do believe Kent still quote, but he plays a down on his luck private detective who was a cop, and then his former partner gets caught cheating with his wife, and then the partner gets blown up, and then he gets accused of it, and then he gets pulled into this whole football gambling ring. And Damon Wayans is I think he was a quarterback, or maybe he's a wide receiver. I don't remember, but they get thrown together, and Halle Berry's in it for 5 seconds. She gets killed, and then they stop an assassination by throwing a football in the way of a bullet and saves the intended target. And then Bruce Willis kills the bad guys and then dances a jig, and we all go home.
And then dances a jig.
All right. I have been holding the last one for a long time. I moved the order of things because I wanted to just give you a string of crap because I knew you wanted this so badly, and you all were going to tear my head off if it wasn't on the list.
This, I will tell people, I actually think this is better than Star Trek 2. This is the perfect ending to send a cast off on. It advances the story. It's beautifully acted. Christopher Plummer quoting Shakespeare at the end. It is chef's kiss of storytelling. You can actually drop anybody in and have them watch this movie and just enjoy a fun political thriller. This to me, this movie, this is my Homelander praising a movie moment. This is just absolutely perfect in every way.
Got to agree, especially because it's dealing with the idea of we're now ending the Cold War, but we've got the old Cold War warriors who don't trust each other and don't like each other, and they're having to make this peace. And then you've got a murder that takes place, and then it becomes a closed manor mystery, which is kind of amazing when you're talking about Star Trek. Has some of the best performances. Christopher Plummer gleefully chewing scenery. Definitely a fantastic send-off to this series. I see people in the chat are thanking God that this made the list. It's like, as soon as you guys were begging for it, it's like, no, I'm going to hold it back. I'm going to make you wait. There's no way this one was not going to be on the list. And yes, the blood was purple, and some of the first CGI blood I remember ever seeing in a movie. Also, Kim Cattrall in Star Trek, which was just incredible.
So she was originally supposed to be Sarek and was up in Savick and was not available, which is how we got Kirstie Alley.
Yep. So that is
one
our
more.
list.
Boys in the Hood. Just wanted to say, Boys in the Hood came out in 1999. Also, Kevin, and I honestly thought you were going to have that on your list, and you didn't.
I thought when I saw that you were on here, I thought you would have put it on, so I didn't put it on.
We both thought the other one was going to do it. Classic.
Because I need no excuse to scream Ricky and run in slow motion.
He really doesn't.
I've got to tell you as well, there were more movies on the list as well. I had to start culling somewhere because honestly, I didn't think we were going to get through these. We're only 8 minutes over time, so we actually moved through these a lot faster than I thought we were going to. But there's lots
strategy behind giving you only like 7 or 8, then you have to do the ones I want you to do.
There were a lot more movies that could have been on this list, and this is just 1991. That's why we wanted to do this series, guys, is that look at how good we were eating. Now, to be fair, half of Kevin's movies were crap. But even then, it's like, how many movies did we get in this list that actually were good, that everybody could agree on, and that's in 1 year? You wouldn't have gotten that number of movies in the last 4 or 5, maybe even longer than that. So this just goes to show you that given the right conditions, with the right people in the right roles and the right people supporting the projects, you can make magic. It's not really magic. There is a science to it, but it requires that you have the right people doing it. And that's what they're lacking right now.
Martin Stone would appreciate Kevin's schlocky picks.
Yeah, well,
Calling it now.
I do too, honestly, because sometimes you just want a bad B movie, and it's
Kevin
not like
wants that a lot.
it's not like these are no-name actors either, So I totally get it. Super chats that we got to get to. Liquid Fox for 5 Canadian. Favorite 1991 movies include my favorite sequel, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Hook, Ninja Turtles 2, Critters 3, and The Punisher.
Your favorite sequel
the
is
Dolph
Freddy's
Lundgren.
Dead? Come on.
I was trying to figure out The Punisher, but he's talking about the Dolph Lundgren one.
Dolph Lundgren, yeah. I took the Punisher off so that I could put Brandon Lee and Dolph Lundgren on.
Yep.
So I swapped out Louis Gossett Jr. and Dolph Lundgren.
Was it because you wanted to tell the story from your dad?
I did 110%.
I know. I know you.
Liquid Fox for another 2 Canadian. Yes, Lord. Good form. I'm guessing that must be for adding the 2 posters at the end. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Let's go with that.
Yep. Liquid Fox for another 2. Glenn Close played the poor pirate in the box. That's right. She absolutely did. O2RR for $1.99. One of my favorite Hook scenes was Thudball. And Snarky Distinct for $1.99. You go, we go. And Chef Eddie for 2. Highlander 2 was the best movie of 1991.
Keep trolling.
So there you go, guys. That's our list for tonight on 1991. I believe on Friday, what we're actually going to be doing is another live watch like we've been doing, but this is a good movie. We're actually going to be doing Godzilla -1 on Friday night, so I hope you guys will join us for that. We obviously won't be showing it on the screen. You won't be hearing the audio, but you'll be able to sync it up with us and watch it at home if you want to do that while we provide commentary on it. And then later on, me and the guys are going to be doing that movie for the Genre Guys for one of our episodes. This will be my first time seeing it, so that's going to be our Friday night show, and perhaps next Tuesday we'll be doing 1992, unless some other juicy subject comes up before then. Kevin, do you have anything that you want to plug before we get out?
Yeah, go to the House of Apollo and watch my videos, please. I'm trying to get to 500. Trying to get 500 subs. You guys have been kicking butt over the last over the last 2 weeks. It's been awesome.
Yep.
So
remember, like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell, comment if you can. That really helps for engagement with the algorithm, and we appreciate your support with that. Trish, what do you got?
We got M4cast on Thursdays, 8 Eastern, and I've got Lost Guys with Martin Stone, Nolan Thunder, and Hangry Table, which is that Park Place member exclusive for I don't know how many weeks, and then it becomes free on T3PO eventually. We just talk about forgotten and slightly obscure stuff, and we have a grand time randomly chattering about stuff that a lot of people probably don't remember.
Yep. There you go, guys. That's our show for the night. Had a lot of fun with all of you, and hope that you'll join us on Friday night for that screening of Godzilla -1. Till then, take care, have a good week, and we'll see you all real soon.
Lorn and Apollo!